What's going on, guys? It's your man, Ed Hayes, the wholesale coach here, back for another episode of the Wholesaling Mastermind podcast, guys. And in this episode, I'm glad to say I've got my main man, Jamel, here with me to talk about him getting deals. He's been out here grinding, guys. I wanted to have him come on to the podcast, talk about what he's been through, the deals that he's working on and stuff like that, and be able to just provide some game to you all, you know? So let me go ahead and let my man introduce himself. How are you, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hey, bro, it's my pleasure, bro. My pleasure. I know we always have like really good conversations, so I'm glad to have you out on the podcast, brother. Glad to have you out.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So just to start off with, why don't we just start with why don't you just give the audience a little bit of background about you? You know, where you located at and what's your background before wholesaling?
Okay, I'm originally from New York City. I'm located in South Carolina, about 15 or 20 minutes from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
My background, I'm a computer specialist at State Farm Insurance Company. I do wholesaling on the side. I've been at wholesaling for, it's probably been about 3 or 4 years, man. Been on the fence a lot, and I finally took action within the last year or so. Just really got into it, and things have started to happen. And I met you and got pointers and some advice and some tips. And been a rough journey, but I made some things happen.
Man, you definitely have, bro. You've been out here grinding, like you say, for quite some time, man. I think, yeah, it was like last year sometime that we originally started talking to each other. I know we've been planning to do this for quite some time, man.
Right.
For real, man. So, but you say that, so like you're still currently working a job right now. You're doing wholesaling on the side.
hmm
So how's that kind of been working out for you?
it's a challenge. It's a challenge, you know. I mean, a lot of times, you working, you don't have enough time in the day to really get, into wholesaling, but I make time in the evenings and on the weekends and just through networking, basically, right now, my job is, kind of like the bread and butter,
Mhm.
been there 20 years. So
Nice.
that's all I really know. But wholesaling has helped me, get through some, bumps and bruises and stuff like that to supplement my income. So I really, just dug in, man, and just started, making things happen, man, and just keeping the faith. It kind of got a little frustrating at times when things wasn't happening, but I've always heard, keep on digging in and do things that made money, you know, to
Mhm.
to get you through, instead of wasting time. I chased my tail a lot, man, when I first started and stuff, getting discouraged. Things wasn't going how I wanted them to go. I like immediate results. And I had to realize that, sometimes, things are not going to happen right away. And it's a process. And it took me to get into that mindset to understand, hey, this is what you need to do. You're going to have the no's and the things are not going to go as according to plan. Everybody looks for, and I did too, looked for an exact blueprint and thinking that it's supposed to go A, B, C, D. But sometimes you're going to get to F before you get to B, and then
Yes.
you just got to make it work, man.
Man, that's so true, bro. And that's so true. And I think that like honestly, like you're a real testament, bro, to like just continuing to grind and not stopping despite whatever going on. It's like you've consistently been putting in that action, been putting in that work. I know we've had so many different phone calls where you like, man, so and so is going on working on this property. I got this guy coming on. I got him looking for properties and it was many times where I sensed that frustration, but despite it all though, like the end result of that call would be like, but man, I'm about to keep grinding though. So
Right.
I think that you're a real testament, bro, for real to like, when you really kind of dig in and you say like, look, I'm going to make it happen regardless. I know I'm going to hear a bunch of no's. I know most people are going to say no, but I'm going to just keep going. I think that, man, you really made that difference right there, bro, for
Yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I want to kind of unpack that a little bit though, because I know that, um, you know, you've been through a lot, man. You've been through like quite a bit, like since you really started getting into this wholesaling. So I want to take the audience through like one of the deals that you've done or whatever. I know it was the one deal that you did with the house hunter guy that you had out there. Why don't we just break that down a little bit? Why don't we give them a little bit more background so they got a little bit more of a context?
Well, with the house hunter, I followed actually your system with as far as putting an ad on Craigslist and the word, and I kind of took from the system that you had, the course that you had given me, and I put the ad, on Craigslist, and I got a lot of people I think that were really curious, but for the most part, they were being nosy and they wanting to know how they were going to make $500 to $1,000, $2,000. That curiosity brought in a lot of people, and I was getting a lot of emails and phone calls. Different people were interested, and what I was doing was copying and pasting and sending them the manual that you had available, just to kind of explain what it was I was looking for, so I didn't have to keep repeating myself. So after I did that, I interviewed and screened a few people. Some people, a lot of them were tire kickers, but I had this one guy. He was like, "Man, I want to get on board. I want to know what it is." And he actually was from Rhode Island, but he lived in excuse me, he lived in a place called Granite Quarry, and it's probably about an hour or so from where I'm at. So he really wanted to get on board or whatever the case may be. He did. And he started, just looking for properties, and he was just giving me addresses and stuff like that. And he was even going above and beyond and contacting the sellers and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
making appointments for me. And I'm like, man, this could be something here. So we did
Right.
that. He got in contact with one seller, and that the guy, he was just wasn't interested. And then he got in contact with another seller, and that one there made some traction. And the guy was wanting to sell. He was actually another investor that lived out of the area, and he just wanted to get rid of the property that he had. So he said it was
Right.
just too much for him to manage being out of the area. So it was like, okay, I can work something like that. So I ran the numbers and everything. Me and the property hunter agreed on what his fee was going to be, or whatever the case may be. So the guy agreed with the contract. He agreed at price. We negotiated a little bit, and then he finally agreed. We finally agreed on a price that he would accept. So Property Scout, here again, he went, took pictures, put his own lockbox on the property. He says, "Man, I got plenty lockboxes." So I was like, "Okay, cool,
The
thanks."
right way.
He was just like a one-stop shop, man.
I was just about to say that, right?
Yeah. So he did that, and I started making some phone calls and trying to get people through the property or whatever. He said, "I'll even show it if you need me to." And the good thing about him was that he was able to estimate repairs and stuff for me. So he kind of like was like, "Well, this needs to be done," because he had that rehab background. And
Right.
actually, he showed me some good work that he's done or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. So he saved me on, without being there to determine repairs. So I already had that number from him. All I had to do was try to figure out what the comp was, and go from there. And after, it took a little while to close. We closed, and we were supposed to close in 21 days, and we actually closed in about 7 days, 5 to 7 days.
Nice.
We had a buyer that was ready to go. They was like, "Yeah, we want that. We want that one." Numbers made sense. Negotiated with them a little bit, trying to get as much as we could,
Mm-hmm.
and they kept trying to lowball or whatever. And it got to the point to where we was like, "Hey," I was like, "Hey, meet me in the middle," and they did. And I actually was working this one with a partner of mine. He's a real estate agent, and so we
Right.
worked that together. So I used him for comps, and different things like that. And he was just getting started with wholesaling himself. So it was like a teaching moment for him. And I
Hmm.
just navigated everything, from all of the stuff that I've been through and the reading and on the fence. And I just started putting everything together, stayed in control of the deal, had everybody doing everything that I needed them to do, all took care of all of the moving parts. And we got it closed, man. The other wholesaler, he was like, man, well, the real estate agent, he was like, man, he said, you just took control of everything, man. You just had everything moving like a well-oiled machine. And I'm like, man, I was kind of like, yeah, I did, and it was just like, wow. So that was a good feeling for somebody to even come back and tell you that. And I actually, three families was fed. Mine, the real estate agent, and the property scout. And he was in need, the property scout, because he was having issues with his truck or whatever the case may be. And he took a chance because he was like, I'm gonna trust you because I feel like you're a good person and your word, you speak well. And he's like, I'm burning a lot of gas and doing a lot of different things. I just hope that you come through. And I'm like, man, you got my word. So when it closed, I called him up. I said, Bill, I have your money. And he was like, really? And he was like excited. So he actually had to come to Charlotte to pick his son up from the airport. So I met him and he was like, man, he gave me a hug. He was like, man, you're awesome. You're the best. He said, man, I've been, excuse my expression. I've been shitted on so many times in my life, man. And, you really came through and you kept your word. He said, most people run when money's involved. And I'm like, man, I'm about building relationships. I'm not thinking about a dollar. Sometimes I'll rather a relationship rather than money, man. You know what I'm saying? Money
Yes.
goes and comes, relationships stay.
Yes. Man, that's so true. Oh, my
Yeah.
bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was ecstatic, man, and I felt good about it because I was able to help the buyer. He had a situation that he wanted to get rid of. I was able to help this property scout because he had a situation. The
Hmm.
realtor guy, it was like a proof thing because some people need that proof.
All
And for
right.
me, it was like, hey, here it is. I'm able to do this.
Right. Man, that's pretty deep though, bro. Like I think that man, it's just like so many things just in that one situation that you were able to learn from that one situation. I think you gained a ton of valuable experience, including like just like hiring on a team and kind of like what that feels like and like the stressors that you kind of have to deal with. So many different tire kickers that you may have to come across. But like you say, when you get that one person on your team that is like a superstar and can really help you, especially when that person has like real estate experience or contracting experience, whatever it is. I know that that was a major help for you.
Oh yeah.
And then I know that we've talked about in the past about, and you just mentioned it as well, about how you were really coordinating the entire deal. Like you were really the one, the maestro. You
Yeah.
were essentially making it all happen just like you did on your very first deal. And I think like when you had came on to the coaching, you had already gotten your first deal already,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought. And but you said in that deal, you were also coordinating everything and being
Yeah.
the maestro. See, I think that one of the most important things, and you mentioned this as well, like one of the most important things is the relationships.
Yeah.
And it's like if you're actually able to like actually manage the relationships and make sure that everyone gets done what they need to get done, you have a much higher likelihood of actually making some money in this business.
Yeah.
Because very often, especially, you know, all over the nation for that matter, a lot of people are just brand new. A
Yeah.
lot of people are literally just brand new. They never even heard of wholesaling. And then it's like you come into their life and you're telling them about it. And if you know how to coordinate people, you're going to be able to make something happen. So I think that that's a huge benefit that you've been able to kind of put in place.
Yeah. And
For real.
honestly, it seems like those are all the people that I'm coming in contact with is people that's new and they're stuck somewhere, but they're finding situations, and they're like looking for that guidance, and I just like kind of guide them got him through the process, man. Tell him what to say. I've had a few of them call me all times of the night, like, the seller call, what should I say? I got a guy right now that's been calling me. He's new. He's a door-to-door roof salesman. So he comes
Mm.
in contacts with a lot of properties.
Right.
So he's, kind of on my team, and I'm like, dude, I want to get you your first deal before the end of the year. This is the proof here. It
Right.
works. So we got a seller now on he's found on Facebook, and she's kind of like giving us the runaround or whatever the case may be with her property. She's shopping for like the highest, the highest offer.
Right.
I'm like coaching him on what to tell her when she calls. And her first offer, she says she had an offer or whatever the case may be for 65K or whatever, but then that fell through, so she called him back yesterday. So he's like,
Mm.
what should I say? I said, well, get her back on the phone. Well, should I text her an offer? No, get her back on the phone. Don't text her anything.
Right.
Offer her $1. And if she accepts, you need to get out there and get this contract signed for XYZ ASAP
Mm.
immediately, because she's shopping. We already know she's shopping. So,
Mm-hmm.
this is what you need to do. So he's like, okay. So I kind of coordinate him too. We gotta
Right.
we
Right.
gotta coordinate.
Hey, that's a blessing though, bro. That's a blessing though that like you've gained the knowledge and experience and you're already out there actually trying to give it back to people, helping other people out in the process. So you didn't just learn and then just kind of like keep it to yourself. Like you've been earning while learning at the same time and teaching other people how to do it, which extends your influence as well. So that's a beautiful thing, bro. For real. That's really, really a blessing. And I'm sure that those people that you're touching, they're going to be telling everybody that they know about you. Like, man, this one guy, man, he just put me on and he really taught me the game and da 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 da. And that, man, that makes a big difference.
Oh yeah.
It makes a big difference. Giving you a good name out there, I'm sure, man. For real.
Yeah.
You say your name is golden out there in them streets. I see you, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's up, though. That's what's up, man. For real. So how many is it now? Like, what are you up to? Are you on your second, third? I can't even
Actually, I'm looking at her statements now, man. There's two here. This is two here. And I have another one. I don't have the statement for that. So really, honestly, it's my third one.
Nice.
I had a bunch of them that fell through. You get sellers that they don't want to accept your offer. They're on board at first, but then they're like, I can go and get a
Mhm.
higher offer here and there. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can't make everybody work with you. So
Right.
a lot of them I thought that were potential. They were potential deals, but it's just the seller just reneged on whatever
Right.
or whatever. So I think I could have gotten more, but
Hey.
I'm at 3. I mean, and like I say here again, full-time job, and I can still pull off three deals. I think that's pretty good. You
That's
know,
decent.
I created money out of thin air. I fed a few people too in the process.
Right.
Everybody that worked with me, I made sure that they were paid.
Right.
So my last deal
Hmm.
was I had an ad on Craigslist, and it's been on Craigslist probably. It was an old ad, and a lady called me. She was in Utah. She was in Utah.
I remember you told me this. Yeah.
So she called me up off a Craigslist ad or whatever. I had ad saying that I was a buyer and blah blah blah. So she called me up. She got in contact with a person that was going through pre-foreclosure.
Hmm.
So she was like, I see that you're a buyer, and da da da. So what I told her was like, well, where's the property? I got all the information. I said, well, actually, I'm not buying in that area. I said, but I have access to other buyers that might be interested, in that area. But per se,
Hmm.
I'm not. So she was like, well, if you could, help me out and find, she was very first deal. She said, if you could help me out and finding a buyer, I'll split, I'll JV with you or whatever. And I was like, okay, fine, no problem. So I got all the details, and did all of my due diligence, kept in contact with her. She called me just about every other day with different questions and, closing attorneys. I said, I have an attorney that works that whole state of North Carolina, basically. So don't worry about that. I'll take care of all of that. So she was in negotiations with the seller with the price. I found a buyer, and then we agreed on a price. And it took a little while to get this one closed because now you're dealing with a bank.
Okay, right.
Bank is a little more difficult as far as certain things. She had to get letters of authorization, and those expire.
Right.
So you can't just keep using that. The payoff changes, every so often. You got these payoff dates, and it goes up, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So I kept telling her how to do that. Call the bank, get the authorization, because there are different payoff dates or whatever. So we need to know, what the exact amount is so we can be comfortable with the offer, because it's going to fluctuate. So we found a buyer, and buyer was interested. He got a smoking hot deal. We were trying to get as much as we could from him. But, it's like, we'll take what we got. We cleared $7,500. So we split that, and I felt like, the seller was going through a divorce, so we helped him, he was about to lose, his house, obviously, and he went through a divorce. He was concerned about his credit, and that was her main goal. And she kind of opened my eyes to, what she was trying to do and what her thing was. She was really, the money wasn't a factor for her. She was more so wanting to help this gentleman, and she just found a county and picked him out of the blue, and picked me out of the blue, and we all, it was a win-win. We helped him, save his credit, save face, and we got paid in the process. The buyer got what he wanted. It took a little while. It took about 3 weeks.
It's not that long.
It took about 3 weeks, and the seller wasn't computer literate, so we tried to give him DocuSign and different stuff like that, and he wasn't really getting all of that kind of stuff. So that was the hold up a little bit too.
Gotcha.
But we finally got everything finalized, got him on board, and started explaining things in the process of how things was gonna take place, and stuff like that. So we finally got that one done, man. It was cool. It was awesome. And like I say, man, she was more so about the seller, man. And she even actually gave him some money to move out of her portion.
Wow.
So I thought
That's deep, man.
that was awesome, man. And the guy, he was happy, man. He was happy. And he enjoyed the buyer. The buyer came through, and he was like, man, I think he's really going to take this property. That's what he was telling us. And I'm like, yeah,
okay,
good guy, and he kept his word too.
Right. Man, that's good though. That's a real interesting situation right there. It feels like you really experienced like a little bit of everything. Not to mention that's 3 for 3 on you, like being the coordinator on this deal and actually making it happen, bro. That's major right there, honestly. I feel like I feel like for you guys listening or watching this podcast, if you really think about it, like you can literally just structure your entire business like this. Like, hey, look, just call me the glue. I'm the person that can like put the pieces to the puzzle together and make sure everything sticks and we can get this deal closed. Reach out to me. Like that's a whole business model right there. And I think that you're really working it really good, bro. Yeah, for real. And then $7,500 for 3 weeks worth of work. I don't think anybody listening to this will be complaining about that for 3 weeks worth of work while working a whole job on top of that. And this just being on the side. I mean, I think thousands of extra dollars for anybody just on a monthly basis or, however often it's coming just to get a random lump of thousands of dollars is great, man, for real.
Yep. Yep.
Man, you've been really out here working, bro. You've been out here working for
Yeah.
real. And it sounds like you've got the expertise to make it happen as well. And I tell people all the time, like a lot of times it's like knowing the numbers and the lingo is like when you don't know that, it can be a lot harder. And that's what a lot of people are kind of struggling with at the beginning. So to have someone like yourself to be able to kind of help them with like the numbers, what to do at the title company, stuff like that. A lot of people are just totally confused.
Yeah.
So man, you've been an asset out there, bro. You've really been an asset, you know. For real, man. We tend to get rewarded in relation to how much value that we're putting out there, and it seems like you've been putting out a good amount of value, for real.
Yeah.
Extra few deals, can't complain about that, man. Okay, I see you out there, bro. I see you.
I need some more though, man. I need some more. I mean,
Man, I know the feeling, man. That itch never goes away. Like no matter how much you scratch it, you're always looking for more.
yeah, man. And, it's kind of like you creating money out of thin air, man. It's just being in the right places at the right time and saying the right things and getting the right people, and leveraging certain people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do a lot of times too. You know, they're people are leaning on me for the guidance, but I'm also leveraging them to do certain things. I got it to where I don't really have to talk to a seller, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, you bring me this deal. I want you to stay in control because it's your deal, but I will show you and guide you and tell you what you need to do to get it to the closing table. Because one thing I don't want anybody to ever feel like they pass a lead to me and and they're not going to get paid. That's just
Mm-hmm.
one of my biggest things. I don't want to ever make anybody feel like, hey man, I gave you a lead and you dumped on me. No, you're gonna be in control of your lead, your deal, and we're all gonna get paid.
Mm-hmm. Man,
And
that's a good way.
yeah, and it makes me feel good because I know that I'm honorable, and they know that, and that takes you a long way, man.
It
I've seen a
does,
lot
man.
of I've seen a lot of crap online and a lot of guys and a lot of people just doing underhanded stuff, and I'm just not about that.
That's so true, man. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I've seen people have like house hunters bring people deals. They don't pay the house hunters.
Mm.
I've seen like all types of shady stuff. I've seen buyers steal the deals underneath the wholesalers. You see it all. The more you kind of get out here and put yourself in those vulnerable situations, it's like you're really looking to be able to come across people like yourself that's actually gonna like help them get there. Like
Right.
me and you both. I think that's part of the reason why we always had these really good conversations as well. Like we got the same type of mentality as far as like wanting to help people while at the same time helping ourselves as well.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I think that's been major, bro. And also like I'm curious, like so like I know that you've gotten this 3 already, and you've been the main facilitator, coordinator throughout these deals and whatnot. I'm curious, like what's your plans going forward? Like what are you actively doing right now? And or like what's your plans going forward to try to get the next one?
Well, going forward, I wanna get to the point to where I can automate certain things and have more deals coming in. I want to get a website and get a VA eventually,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But what I'm doing now is I'm still scouring the internet and different stuff, in different markets online. I still got property scouts bringing stuff. Like I said, you're gonna go through a lot of crap before you get to where you need to be. So I know that's a source of leads. I kind of ventured out with Realty Track. I don't know if you ever heard
I've
of.
heard of that. I've heard of it.
I have an investor, a friend here locally. He has access. He pays like 200 and something dollars a year for Realty Track. Because if you go on Realty Track, anybody can go on it, but it's not going to give you all of the details that you need unless you pay. So he paid
Gotcha.
like 200 something dollars for the year. So he gave me his sign on. So I've been scouring there for pre foreclosures.
Okay.
So I got the pre-foreclosure bug a little bit because of the last deal. It was a pre-foreclosure,
Gotcha.
and Realty Track just gives you a lot of different information that you need. Some of it is accurate. You still got to do a little bit of, some of it is accurate, but some of it isn't. You still got to do a little bit of research, and you got to make contact with the seller. You got to see how far they're behind. Then you have to get them to contact the bank and let you contact the bank on their behalf. So it's a lot
Right.
of different things that you have to do. But I think that's a good source of leads because they're motivated and they're in pre-foreclosure.
Right, right. So is
So
that all that Realty Track offers? Is like pre foreclosures, just like everything?
they offer pre-foreclosures. They got auction properties. Um, I the auction properties, pre-foreclosures, and I think FISBOs. But I just every time I go in there, I just focus on the pre-foreclosures.
Right, right, right.
Auction, auction properties, you got to have that cash money, boom. The pre-foreclosures, they're not at that point. They still have a little bit of time,
Hmm.
to where the banks, got their thing going on with them or whatever the case may be. So that basically they still have a little bit of time. So you still have a little bit of time to find out how far they're behind and what stage the process is in. So I
Right,
think that
right.
if I can get those leads and get in contact with those sellers before the last stages, I can get something going, in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I've heard people say that they could stop foreclosures or what, but I want to get them in that pre-stage because I don't want to get to that point because I'm sure there's a lot more moving parts. So if I can get to that pre-foreclosure stage and get contact with them there, I think I can make something happen because that's all she did. The last deal, that's all she did. She contacted this gentleman and she negotiated a price with him. She found out the information. She negotiated a price with him. She just didn't have a buyer in that market. I did. So I think that if she can do that there, I can probably pick up where she left off and work that. I mean, who's to say? I mean, she did it, so why can't I?
I hear you. I hear you on that. Like, do you plan on starting in North Carolina, or when you want to start this pre foreclosure?
I've been looking in North Carolina and certain parts of South Carolina. I started looking in the area that we had the last deal because the buyer told me to bring him more deals. So
That's what I like to hear.
yeah, he showed me that he would close, and then I said, well, okay, I'll bring you, whatever I can come across and negotiate or whatever. And he said, even if I don't take it, I have a contractor that's looking to invest in some properties as well. So now
Mhm.
you have some more eyes on whatever you bring. I was like, okay.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I was kind of focusing in that area because I know that buyer is there,
Right, right.
informed. So why not?
I hear you on that. And that's kind of like the whole strategy anyway, is to find out what the buyers are looking for and work backwards anyway. So if you've got something he's going to pull the trigger on, I'll be trying to find him first before just randomly trying to shop it out to anybody. It's kind of
Right,
like the benefit of having the buyers in advance.
right. So
Seriously.
that's where I'm at, as far as those leads and Property Scouts leads. And I get on Zillow every so often and try to make contact with people there or whatever the case may be, Craigslist or whatever, and
With the
do
for sale by owners, you mean?
a sale. Yeah, I got a little software that somebody introduced me to where it scrapes Craigslist and Zillow for leads,
Mm,
and it's kind of like a pay as you go type of thing.
that's interesting.
I use that and certain things to just try to streamline what I got going on or whatever the case may be. But I also thinking about. I know last time I spoke to you, I was thinking about purchasing a list, you know,
Hmm.
and go from there as well, and just send text blasts, CC Garland.
Right. Good old CC Garland. Yeah, I highly recommend checking that out.
Yeah, so I said that I was gonna get a list and then just have him skip trace it,
Mhm.
or your list is already skip trace, so I just would have to do the text blast. So that's
Right, right.
time, and see how that works out for me. But the software, the software that I was talking about, um, what it does is it kind of eliminates the people that's not interested because I could send a blast through that software. And the ones that say no, they're not interested, I don't bother. But if you give me a little inkling that you might be interested, those are the ones that I need to call back. So it
Right.
saves time from the ones that say no. So okay, I'll just scrap those because they're not interested.
Hmm. So are you already using that text messaging software?
Um, Not the one that I'm talking about. I used Slide Broadcast, but I wasn't having any traction with it.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Somebody else just recently mentioned Sly Broadcast too, and they mentioned like the same thing that they weren't getting any traction with it. So that's two
Yeah,
times this week that I heard that. So I'm gonna
yeah,
keep that in mind for
yeah.
real.
I still have some credits on there. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to put any more credits. But they say you should probably still keep at it because it is what it is, and sometimes you're gonna go through all of those no's or no answers or anything before you get somebody, that one person that says, yeah, okay, blah blah.
Right,
It was just like a test. I was just trying to see how the slide broadcast worked and different stuff. So
right. Like how many did you send out? I'm just curious.
how many credits I had, I think I put up $25. I think I got like 100 credits or something like that.
Hmm. Okay, so it's like one text per credit. It's like that.
Yeah. So when
Oh,
you,
okay. So yeah, that's kind of expensive then, I think. I
yeah,
think the thing that I'm using textedly, like you're sending like tens of thousands for like 250. Like it's like really cheap
yeah,
compared to like a lot of services. I think that's like yeah, yeah. You might want to look into it. You might want to look at and CC Garland's program. I think that his is pretty affordable as well.
yeah,
No.
yeah. I did a little bit of research. I actually saved the logins to my computer because I said when I get a quality list, I'm gonna try it.
Okay, okay. That sounds like a plan, bro. That sounds like a plan. I'm like, so So like you're really kind of primarily thinking like, okay, let me get me some foreclosure lists. Let me maybe potentially just like grab a list from like Ed or somebody else and then get it skip trace and start doing text blasting.
Yeah,
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 that sounds good, bro. That sounds good. And I really like the pre-foreclosure idea as well, just because, you know, I always say like, don't fix what's not broken. And if it is working, double down on it. You know
right.
what I mean? So, and then a matter of fact, that just made me think about like, have you been putting out like the Craigslist ad still, like trying to bring on more, what do they call like more house hunters?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I still have that ad going, and just it's
Okay.
just a lot of people just going through the motions and
Right.
see a lot of people when they're just looking at the dollar amount that they can actually get, but then the work that's entailed, they're like, oh, I gotta go and I gotta take down addresses, and they don't want to do that. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta think about the reward, the end result. You can make some free money just by providing me with some addresses, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you go above and beyond and you get the name and make contact like my first property hunter did, hey, you get a little bit more money. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it just depends on what you want to do. The ball's in your court. I appreciate the help if you want to help me, but if not, I'm gonna find me some deals myself. You
I
know,
hear that for real.
I mean, I'm not gonna solely rely on people out there, bringing me leads, because hey, it's gonna be a time where that's not gonna happen. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Though. I'm just curious, because I'm like, I know that's how you got that one deal, and then the
yeah,
other, like the lady reached out to you in that situation. It just seems like like the randomness is almost like a part of it, you know. It's just like coming from different areas every time and stuff almost, you know.
And like I said, I got some good, people that I've contacted and they contacted me and interviewed them, briefly. Like I said, I got my roofing guy. There's
Right.
one lady, she says, well, yeah, I'll be interested in making some extra money. I'm a homemaker. And she says, I ride my bike, to help with the ozone. So I come across a lot of, I'm like, okay, just give me the addresses and, we'll go from there. And they're always
Yeah.
like, well, how am I going to get paid? I'm like, you're going to get paid, and they're like, well, how do I know that for sure? I said, you got to just take my word for it. You got to take a chance, it's there's some rewards with the risk, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure some people probably be a little turned off, a little scared or whatever. That's why I got like the little independent contractor agreement thing or whatever, because I'm telling them, like, when I'm giving them that agreement, I'm like, look, this is for you. It's not for me. Like, this is so you know that I'm gonna pay you, and I'll like sign on the dotted line to say that I'm gonna make sure I pay
And see, that's probably where I dropped the ball,
you.
because I didn't draw that up,
Oh, okay, okay.
so that's probably,
No worries though. No worries though. I'm sure it's in your
hey,
file, so you can
yeah,
always just go ahead and implement that right away. You know what
and
I
it
mean?
still worked. My word meant more than the document.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, at the end of the day, you know,
Mhm.
you worked it out one way or another, though. For real,
Right,
for
I
real.
made it
That's all
work.
it really matters.
I made it work. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, though, bro. So I'm curious, like, I think a lot of people, like, when they're in the situations, and like, I think that your story is probably like real familiar. It probably hits like really close to home for a lot of people that listen to the podcast. You got a job, you got other stuff going on in life, and somehow you've been able to still get 3 deals. Like, that's literally some people's overall goal for the year is to do 3 deals while still working their job and just being able to maybe pay off some debt and get a little bit freer than what they are right now, go on an extra vacation or two a year. So I'm just curious, bro, like if you could give any advice to someone just brand new, just starting off, just like you were not too long ago or whatever, maybe somebody's even got a deal already, right? Like, what would be your best advice that you think that you can give to somebody to help them get their next deal?
My best advice would be stay at it. I
Mm.
mean, whatever it is that you learned, whoever you learned from, it works. And
Yeah.
just stay at it, stay the course. You're gonna run into about a lot of negativity from people that don't believe. They say you're insane. You're brokering out a license and different stuff like that people say.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay at it. Don't reinvent the wheel because
Mm-hmm.
it's no red pill or anything.
Yep.
Just stay at it, stay focused, stay at it, and don't give up, man, because it's gonna be times where it's gonna be frustrating. It's gonna seem like it's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have that doubt. You're gonna have that fear. You're not gonna know the answers to everything.
Yep.
But when you don't know the answers, I leverage everybody else. I use everybody else's knowledge. I'll ask questions to people that I know, but don't give up, man. That's the only thing I can tell you is don't give up. Just stay the course because you're close. You're close, whether you believe it or not. If you're putting in the work, if you're taking action, you're close.
Man, man, that's deep, bro. I think that that's some really amazing advice, and that's real too. It's just real. I think a lot of people that may even think like, oh, well, that's cliche, but in our reality, it's like that's the whole game. It's just like, don't give up, be persistent. It's gonna suck sometimes. You're not gonna know all the answers. You will be frustrated, but as long as you keep grinding, you'll get there. I think that
Right.
that's amazing advice, bro, for real. And I know me and you even had many phone calls where it's like I said, I can hear the frustration in your voice, and I can hear like the damn, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. Like, and like wanting it to happen, but it was like I said, at the end of every one of those conversations, he was still like, but I'm gonna keep grinding, but I'm
Yep.
not stopping right here, but I'm gonna keep going, like. every single time, bro. So like I said, you a true testament, bro. That's real. That's your real truth right there when you're giving that advice.
Oh yeah,
For
man.
real, man.
Hey, ain't no sugarcoating it. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want something bad enough, you're gonna keep working at it, you know. And another thing I would say, and I'm guilty of it, when you don't feel like working on it, work on it.
Mm,
When
man,
you don't feel like working on it, work on it.
I
Because I
swear.
and it took me a long time to get that in my mind because I'm like, oh, I don't feel like doing this today. I don't feel like doing this today. But when I started getting those HUD statements, like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna
Yeah,
keep on
yeah,
going. But when you're gonna run into those times where you don't feel like it, but that's when you really should,
yep,
because that's when things are waiting to happen for you.
yes.
You know, the times that you don't want to do it.
Yes, that's so true, man. That's so true. And plus that builds up like that repetition. And it keeps the momentum going when it's just about to die down. It's like it gets harder than ever. And that's when you must not quit. That's when you must keep going and being consistent for real. Man, that's so true. That's so
Yeah,
true, man. It's like when you don't want to do it, that's when you must do it the most.
yeah,
So true. That's so true. I feel like you kind of ingrain it on your brain that this is of the utmost importance.
yeah,
And you start to just build up that habit. And we become creatures of habit in our reality. And the most successful people in real estate and every other industry for that matter are the people that just made success a habit.
yeah,
They're just used to winning now.
yeah,
So it makes sense, man. It makes sense.
yeah.
For real. That's great advice, bro. So man, okay, I see you, bro. Man, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a good one so far, bro. I'm glad to have you on here and that we having this conversation because, like I said, man, I think a lot of people can really, really relate to you. I think that like you're a real genuine person, and like we've had such a long relationship. Like we've known each other for quite some time, man. I'm glad. I know you just got the book recently and stuff like that. You know, I sent it out to you and stuff, man. I want to make sure that we continue our relationship and that I'm still there for you so you continue to keep growing, keep plowing through these deals, keep making it happen, brother, because you've been knocking it out for real.
Right.
I'm proud of the progress that you've been able to make so far, bro, for real, man. You've been knocking it out. I know it's been a while, man, but like you right where you pretty much was like expecting to be, essentially. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, I didn't think that I would be where I am when I first started, you know,
Mm.
because I was a doubter too at first, you know, when I first started getting into wholesale and I see everybody with these checks and this and that,
Hmm.
they pitching all these high dollar seminars, and I'm like, man, I don't have money to just be shelling out like that or whatever. So it took me a while to really grasp everything and get down and dirty, man. And you got to do it. You got to do it. And you don't have to spend $5,000, $10,000 for nobody to teach you this. I'll be the first to tell you.
Facts.
You might have to spend some money if you want a coach that's, reliable, that's there for you, and they're there to answer your question. Yeah, you might have to spend that, but you
Hmm.
know, tens of thousands of dollars, no.
That's what people be trying to do. They literally be trying to break the bank on you. Like they trying to get rich off of you, you know? But it's
Right,
like, yeah, I'm trying to get this help so
right,
I can get rich, but they're literally
right,
rich off of you. It's like,
right, right.
I know
So
what you mean.
I'm yeah, I don't, I'm not one that's gonna spend that kind of money, you know.
I
But
feel
like
you
I
on it.
say, some people need that hand holding. Some people need
Mhm.
that hand holding.
Yeah, you're right, though.
But
You're right.
it just shouldn't cost you the bank.
Exactly, exactly. I do think that it, like you say, it is good to kind of have somebody there to kind of walk you through the process. You know, at every job that we ever had, we usually have a trainer, some type of coach or whatever, making sure that we can do the job effectively by ourselves before we're just off to our own devices. But you know, in this
Yeah,
business, it's like you don't have that because it's a business or whatever. So I do think that having a coach is important, but like you say, it doesn't have to break the bank. because none of this stuff
Yeah.
is technically complicated, and all of it is available for free online. It's like you just got to take advantage of the free resources and actually implement, like you say, like you got to do it. You got to put in the work, just Nike it, you know?
Yeah.
For real, man.
But you gonna have to have that advice, that person that you need to get questions answered from. I mean, and some people charge for that. You got people that charge for that, and to a certain extent, I don't blame them. You know,
Yeah. Hey,
to a certain extent, because nothing's free. You know,
exactly.
I don't blame them for that, but some people are just outrageous with what they charge.
I totally agree, bro. For real. I've seen people like literally charging like 30,000 bucks, bro. And like you just barely talking to an assistant or something like that. And
Man, 30
like it's ridiculous.
man, honestly, 30 G's, I better get a deal in 3 weeks.
Or less, like that should be instant. Like, yo, where's my money at, man? I'm
And I
gonna be
want,
at
I
your
want,
door.
and 30 G, and I want 10 grand a deal in 3 weeks. I need my money back.
I feel you on that, bro.
Yeah,
For real, bro.
cause
So don't go out there, y'all. I've heard horror stories
yeah,
of like
30
people
G's.
literally that I'm coaching right now have went out and like paid like 3,000 to this person, 5,000 to this person, signed up for a $15,000 thing with this person. Like, oh my God,
Yeah,
please slow down. Stop spending all of this money. Like, and then it's crazy because they'll start up my coaching and be like, man, I learned more from you in a week than I
right.
did from this whole $15,000 program. Da, da, da. I'm like, oh man, it's so tragic to me, man. But
30 G's.
sometimes you gotta learn the hard way,
Yeah, 30 G's. If I don't close a deal, I'm sorry to say, I'm gonna be looking for you.
I know, right? I'm gonna be at your door. Like I
If
need to
I,
know all
yeah,
your
if I
information
don't
right
close, I
now.
don't want to talk to no assistants, nobody. 30 G's, I'm looking for somebody.
Right.
If I don't close a deal and recoup some of my money, I'm looking for somebody.
You know what I'm saying? So look, and here's what I'm saying. Like, look, you out there already. It's a lot of people literally paying 30 G's to get to where you are right now.
Yeah,
So you know what I mean? Just think about that, guys. Y'all know, like you don't have to be doing anything magical, or just because they charge you 30,000 doesn't mean that they're gonna give you some secret strategy that nobody else is telling online for free. All of this stuff is online for free. Don't y'all forget ever in life. Don't ever forget this stuff is free, y'all. Take advantage. Me and so many other people out here making a ton of YouTube videos. I got over 100 YouTube
oh
videos.
yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like if you can't put it together.
Can't put
I
that
feel,
together.
I know at times it can be information overload though. So,
Yeah,
if you need somebody to kind of help you piece things together, get yourself a coach, preferably someone local. If you can get someone that's local, do that and actually get out here and start grinding. And like Jamel said, you just got to really get out here and put in the work. It's
right.
not gonna fall into your lap. Deals. I mean, like it may sometimes you get lucky, but it doesn't just randomly happen. Like you gotta put in that work. Even where the lady reached out to you from Craigslist, well, you had to put that Craigslist ad up in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's just like the repetition of work, the repetition of action, and really just giving it all that you have to actually get these deals. It's not rocket science, y'all. Y'all got this. Seriously, though. But yeah, though, bro, man. I want to give you a chance to kind of tell the audience, is there anything that like you'd like to tell the audience? Like before we like start the process of like trying to, my knee, oh my bad. But like starting the process of like trying to wrap it up here. Like, is there anything that you'd like to tell the audience? Any sage golden tips that you got for them?
Man, it's like you said, it's no magic formula, man. Just stick with it. Don't get the information overload, because I've been there, done that, and sometimes I still catch myself getting to that point at times. Because everybody's got something that you can take from them.
That's
I
true.
watch a lot of YouTube videos, and what I do sometimes is I try to take stuff from different people and just piece it in my own little course in my head. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? But you will get that information overload, if you keep just reading and reading and chasing your tail, man, and it'll get overwhelming. You just got to take action, man. and you're not gonna know everything. I mean, you're starting out. You're not gonna know everything, so you just got to take that action and just move forward, man. Find a niche, something that you like. It could be pre-foreclosure, it could be code violations, it could be for sale by owner. Find something, stick with it, and make it work, man. Make it work. Don't try to do too many things at one time. You know, focus on one thing at a time.
Bang.
And that's just the
Man,
best advice I can give, man.
all great advice, bro. Seriously, man. Seriously. I'm really glad to have you on to the podcast, bro. For real, man. I think that this has been a very valuable conversation for the entire community, honestly. I feel like people need to hear this. That's why I like to have people come on to just be real, kind of talk. It's like a change of pace. I know people get to hear me talk and give my opinions all the time or whatever. So I really appreciate you coming on, bro, talking to the community, putting them on to the game. I know we dropped some gems in this one, bro. Like you was really giving them the game on this one, bro, for real. So I appreciate that. I really, really do. I appreciate you giving that, providing that value back to the community. I know we talked about this when we first started talking to each other, that you was gonna come onto the podcast eventually.
Yeah.
And we made it happen, brother. For real.
Yeah. I just hope that I was able to help somebody, man, because I was there. You know, I was there trying to get my first, transaction closed, man, and I know how it is. It's very frustrating. So I hope that, somebody took something from it. It was something that somebody needed to hear, you know.
Man, I'm sure it was, bro. I'm sure it's been very valuable nuggets on this one. If so, matter of fact, all you all that's listening or watching, if you all did gain something from this mastermind session, please drop a comment down below. Let us know. Let us know if you got any questions. I know I'll definitely be paying attention to the comments. Drop any questions that y'all got down below, man. I want to be able to kind of supplement this conversation as much as possible. Anything that I can do to help. I'm sure Jamel will be there. If there's any questions that come to you, bro, I'll make sure that I'll let you know, or you'll see it yourself. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But we'll be there for y'all, though, guys. Make sure that y'all drop a comment. Let us know if this session was valuable to you all. And like Jamel said it best, man, like, look, just get out there, start taking action, y'all. Don't think about it that hard. Like, I think that one of the best nuggets that you dropped on here, bro, is that you said, like, essentially, like, I'm just going to word it differently or whatever, but essentially, you'll learn way more by actually doing than you ever will by just, like, watching videos or thinking about wholesaling. Just get out of your mind and get into action, and y'all got this, period.
Right.
Bang. So, man, hey, once again, though, bro, I appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope that all of you listeners, all of you viewers, I hope that you all have found a lot of value in this session. If so, make sure that y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the Wholesaling Mastermind. And yeah, man, till next time, guys, we are out.
Right.